because I used to work in a prison.
Your life is flat.
And I used to have young prisoners that I would see, and their life is gone. They've got 25 years. And what I would always speak to them about is like, why would you go out of your way to do this for a postcode that's going to be there when you die? Like, just things like that. You have to boycott it. Because I had some of my students in prison, they're crying to me saying, you know what, miss, I regret the decision I made. I shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, exactly, because you were too busy running around the streets, acting like a damn fool, and now you're about to spend your whole life in prison.
Yeah.
What's the root of
You have to boycott it.
Why are these things even being allowed to happen? Like, why are these things even manifesting? And who's raising these people?
Ooh, you want to go down that road, bruv?
I'm not gonna lie. Bethany, do you know
like
the only reason why I have to disagree with that? Because a lot of the time you can raise your kids in the right way. It depends on who they're around. I always say this to parents. Yeah, friends play a big part in how your children will turn out. I'm telling you. Look, for example, you will have pastors' kids. They are the top criminals.
Can I say something?
They will go into church every Sunday praying, but they're the top criminals.
If we look by case basis and statistics, it's just the baby mums that are raising these degenerates. People do better.
They come from that.
Let's be real. Hold on, but people do better in two-parent households on average and statistically. So we just need to stop glorifying single motherhood, because
I'll be honest, I don't even think that's directly the issue, because there's plenty of kids that come from single-parent households that are not like that, and there's plenty of kids that come from two-parent households that do turn out like that. I don't think that's necessarily what's going on.
Of course there's outliers.
I think if you did research, can I just say this quick? I think if you did the research to see the percentage of these boys that come from single parent households and they end up doing badness, runaways, doing all kinds of things, end up in jail, most of them will be from single parent homes.
I'm not disputing that the statistics are not correct. I'm just saying that when you look at it from a bigger picture, there's also a lot of children that come from those same type of backgrounds that are not doing those things, and there's also still a lot of children that don't come from single parent households that are still getting involved.
Yeah, but do you not think we should target the majority?
That's my point. That's my point. I don't want to focus on this. This is not my point. This is not my point. I don't want to focus on it. It's not my point. The point I'm trying to get at is I think it's a bigger issue than the community. I don't think this is just something that we can resolve within the community. Because again, I don't think that we have control over why this is actually happening. It's the media choosing to push this narrative. We've seen it happen in America with the 80s and the what pandemic, and now we see it what's going on in social media and with the media of music, movies, TV shows. What is being pushed? We're getting BMF in our face, power in our face, pop boy in our face, music. We've got a certain type of genre that we're dominating, both female and male, and we're the faces of it. And the type of lifestyle that goes along with that is degeneracy. I do think it's the higher ups, and because it's the higher ups, and we haven't got much power over them, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Unless you lots are going to jump on Bouncer's wave and do a reset, I think it does start in the home, but not necessarily about single parents. It's about instilling certain values into your children. That's where it really starts.
I agree. I think we do need a reset, but it's not just a reset of who like the nepotism in music industry and all of that. It's deeper than that. I think that we need a reset of mentality and what is real.
Yeah.
Because if we go by what is real currently, it is have you been to jail? Like, what was you like when you was in school? Was you in this gang? Do you know this? Like, that's perceived as real. Like,
so what I was gonna then say,
you sold poison on the street. That was real. You stabbed this guy. You stabbed that guy. That was real. Like, we need a reset of mentality and stop listening to degenerate idiots online.
See, what I was going to say is
like what Drizzy said. They actually need to start getting clowned, not supported, but clowned. Like you're an idiot.
Okay, so the next part that I was going to say as well is going to speak to this point. the other day I went on a stream, right? And I went on a stream with, it was meant to be 2 rappers, but just before we got there, the other one got arrested. And I remember speaking to the other rapper because I'm actually kind of cool with him, and he was like, you know, he did what the reason he did what he did is he had something to prove. And that made me think on a deeper level, right? A lot of these kids that are getting involved with this, they feel like they need to get validation, and they like what you're saying about the realness. They want the validation from the elders, and they want to feel like their masculinity is being validated in a particular way. Yeah, I feel like they can get that same satisfaction from cadets, or they can get it from, I don't want to go as extreme to say the military, but activities in which their masculinity is tested, challenged, and what's the word? Tested, challenged, exercised.
Discipline.
It's not even just discipline. That's definitely a big part of it. But I think it's specifically the challenging of it and proving yourself. That's what I feel like is at the root of a lot of these young G's. Because you know what? Some of these young G's, they're not slanging packs. They're not going OT. They're just on the end doing whatever the hell the elders tell them to do. Go and dip down this guy. Go rob this guy. Because they're looking for the approval. Do you understand?
But,
so I feel like,
but that sounds like people that ain't got no dad.
When we're talking about single mothers, I think it's important to highlight as well, there is a missing father from the household.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should be focusing on more, rather than pointing the finger and saying, "Oh, you raised your son wrong."
Can I just interrupt? I'm just saying that the absence. Can I say, because I made that point? Yeah, just the absence of the male figure being there. I feel like we severely underestimate it, and I'm just saying, like, you know, a lot of these people like to say that the men have changed and stuff. But to be honest, you can just see from his actions, like, you ignore the red flags, and he wasn't interested in being a dad in the first place. Like, we need to understand as women that not every single man wants to be a father. Not every single man is worthy of having our kids. Yep. So I do think that we should actually have more scrutiny when it comes to picking men, because clearly it's not doing good for our children at all. And this is what's happening. All of these degenerates from the streets, statistically, the majority of them come from single mother households, and then they're going to influence other kids, and then the cycle repeats. Like,
so can I just interject and speak like as devil's advocate? Because I do agree, like, the whole broken family, it's not really a good thing now. I want to look at it from a deeper perspective. You've got the social, economical perspective, and then you've got the emotional and mental perspective. Now, for example, Top Bob, you mentioned getting your kids involved in like activities like cadets and etc., doing extracurricular activities. Whether you like it or not, especially in today's society, a lot of parents don't have the money to afford extracurricular activities, because why? They're working full time just to put food on the table, pay the bills, and provide for their kids in a household. Now, another aspect is, due to parents working a lot, they miss out on the emotional and mental well-being of their children, because you can have kids that stay inside all day. And I'm going to use this as a perfect example. Why? Because he was one of my students. I don't know if you guys saw the boy that did the Southport killing that emmed off the 3 girls. Yeah? Cool. He come from a 2-parent household. Parents are married, good household. Do you know where he got the idea of those killings from? Yeah? Was watching a game. He was looking at games, looking at like war games, doing research on history about wars, etc. That's what started his idea of his radicalism and his terrorism and led to what he did. Now, I'm not saying that parents who aren't present plays a big factor. No, that really does. But sometimes parents can be in the household, but they're not necessarily present emotionally or mentally, because they're spending too much time working. So they don't actually have the time to check in on their kid and actually see what they're actually doing or see what they're getting up to. And then as for extracurricular activities, they might not necessarily have the finances.
Hold on, but can I jump in real quick though? Hold on. Hey. Let me just respond to that quickly, yeah? Like, and I get what you're saying about that case, but I feel like from what you just said, it sounds like there's some mental health. There was mental health issue there with that boy. Like, I don't think that just by playing video games you're gonna go and do that. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe that. But let me say this though. I do agree with what you're saying, where parents not being there for their children emotionally, or just like giving enough time because they're working a lot. I understand that. But I think that, again, if you look at the majority of cases, that particular scenario is going to happen when it's a single mum. Because it's a single mum who will be doing 3 jobs, working 3 jobs, and she won't really have time for her kids because she's trying to flipping survive. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, like, if there's two adults there who have like made the decision to have children at the right time, not just doing it recklessly, but they planned to have children, then that would be the optimal scenario. So then, yeah, there would be time for one of the parents to be at work and one of the parents to give time emotionally to the child. Or if there is two adults in the home, they will have enough income so that they can put the child through to some extracurricular activities. I think that what you're describing predominantly is what happens in the single mother households, because that is predominantly the situation where these kind of boys come from. Do you get what I'm saying? And I understand the example you gave, but I still don't think that, I really think that that's a very vast minority scenario.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Richez. 1 second, I just wanted to add to Bev as well, respond to her, sorry. The thing is, when we compare a single mother household maybe to a household that has 2 parents, even if their emotional support isn't there or isn't as strong, I'm not gonna lie, it's just always better for just someone, the father, just to be there. Like, even if, I'm not saying like negate, the emotional aspect as well, but just the fact that there's a male, masculine father figure present, it goes a long way, because that means the children are less likely to try and outsource that from external, areas. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, it just doesn't compare, and the statistics show that it doesn't compare. So.